20 minutes is better than no minutes. It's like 20 minutes is better than zero. So just, whatever piece of the work that you have mapped out for my workout, if I can get 20 minutes of a quality instead of quantity necessarily, like that to me I think will make a difference. I mean,
I think we are live. Oh my God, super excited. As you guys know, we're just having fun. We are already laughing.
Yes.
Well, this is Vineta. My name is Coach Shangrila. Hello, Ironman and beyond. We are here once again. We do this weekly live training here. And for us, we do this one to actually give value to everyone, to get you be on track and to help you on your next race. So for those who don't know me, my name is Coach Shangrila, and I was just like in your shoes. For those who are just starting, I didn't know how to swim. I was afraid of the open water. I was running only on treadmill, running for medals. And then also, I didn't even have a bike. Fast forward, I am now 2 times triathlon Guinness World Record Holder, best-selling author, motivational speaker, and of course, triathlon high performance coach. And this is Vineta. All right, for today, we're gonna go into our special topic. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
All right, so let's go into it. Okay, so like right here, we have a very important topic. Eek! There's a sound. Who does that sound? I'm like,
but it's perfect.
It is. It's like, my race is coming up and I haven't trained enough. How to change? Can I do this? You can't even pronounce. Can I do this? Or do I got this? When you think you didn't train enough. Who feels like this right now?
Who feels like they're not training enough for their upcoming race right now? Put it in the comments. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about, what to do when your schedule explodes with unexpected commitments and you no longer have enough time to train. What areas should you focus on to make the most out of your limited training time so you still do well at your race? How to deal with disappointment, stress, self-doubt, and anxiety. Okay. And actually, I wanted to talk about this, and I specifically asked Vineta, hey, Vineta, let's change this one. I said, how to change, can I do this, to I got this, when you think you didn't train enough. And I said, think here, because sometimes our brain tells something that we didn't train enough, or what is enough, right? Because it varies in different athletes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. When you think, because maybe you have, or maybe not, right? So then we're going to get some clarity on this one, because if you're in this emotions or this mindset, like right now, this is something that you want to tune in, or if not, probably your friends, you feel like your needs need to hear this one right now, go ahead and tag them down below on this live training so they can catch up. And if you're listening to here live, #live. If you're listening to the replay, #replay. So let's see who's on the line.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
He's joining us.
How's it going?
Odette's here.
Odette.
Hi, Rodrigo.
And Corey as well. Hello, everyone. All right, today's Friday. Now, we want to ask, for any one of you, let me stop the share here. For any one of you, do you have a race coming up? How do you feel about it?
Yes.
How do you feel about it? Like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to even think about it. I can't even think of what I'm about to do today. I got to wash the dishes. I don't have anything to wear for my next workout. Laundry's piling up. Who feels like this? Or like, who felt like, for example, because I had felt this one where at the start of the new year, I'm going to do this. It's going to be let me just sign up.
Sign up.
And then
all
suddenly, because you want to make a change, right? For a new year, suddenly something happens, something unexpected. And then now you're like trying to juggle. Are you feeling something like this for anyone in the group? So this one is more of a two-way conversation. We do have two amazing ladies here who's going to share what they've done to help you guys out also. Okay. But I want to hear from those who's watching, like comment down below. Are you experiencing something like this?
Corey says it never seems like there's enough.
There's enough
time.
Good point. Good point. Right. So and also let me welcome, if you're new in the group, okay, if this is your first time tuning in for our live, say I'm new here, coach. All right, if you're new and we want to welcome you, welcome. So we do this one weekly live training. And if you're new, do you know where to find the training resources? We have a lot of training resources here. All right, so if you have any questions in triathlon, raise your hand. And actually these two ladies here, that's how they got in, because they're like, I want help, I need help. And then they got help. And then now they're here. They're gonna help us. All right. So today, so for those who's just tuning in, let me just review again before I introduce them. We're going to talk about how to change. Can I do this? Do I got this? When you think you didn't train enough. All right, let's introduce Danica from North Dakota. And we got also Shirita from Michigan. Woo! All right, welcome. So happy to have you both. You guys did an amazing job on your recent race. How are you both doing?
Good.
Danica?
Yeah.
Good? Yeah. You are, ahead of us in terms of time zone. So I'm glad that you guys are here taking it off from your work, your family. So I'm really, really happy. Thank you for your time. So I want to congratulate both of you because just recently, okay, so let's check this one out. Shirita. First Olympic triathlon, first place age group in Michigan. It's her first. Next, also, she at the same time, while she's trying to get into trying to finish her first triathlon, first Olympic triathlon, she also did this. Her pace went from 3:36 minutes per 100 yards to 2:47 minutes per 100 yards under our 30-day swim boot camp.
In 30 days.
Oh, wow.
She said, wow, yes. She was so impressed. She can't believe it. You're going to hear her story because she's working.
Yes.
She got three daughters. She got 2 grandkids. Okay. And then she did 30-day swim boot camp. She actually did also Ragnar.
Yes.
All at the same time, back to back, while training for Olympic. I mean, she's kind of bored, don't you think? Yeah. And then the next thing, Danica from North Dakota. Danica, who has 2 kids. All right. She got 2 kids. I actually wrote a story here. Okay. Because we're coaching her and she said, Coach, so she's a single mom, has 2 kids, and she has a couple jobs. Due to her super busy schedule, she had to cut her training to 1 hour. Okay, we're gonna talk more about her story, and then later, even the 1 hour a day wasn't even working. We went to 30 minutes a day, and not even working seriously. I'm like,
it's hard. Yes,
it's hard. Yeah. And then guess what? She actually, she got half marathon at 1:42:22. She's only 2 minutes off from her PR, but she didn't really train much. Well, let's see. What is much? What is enough? All right. So how about let's talk to them now. Yes. Let's ask them questions. Welcome, Emily. Welcome, Odette. All right. Netta.
Yes. Well, I am curious. So, Shirita, walk us through what was going on in your life in triathlon when you found this.
I knew I had signed up for my first Olympic. And so there's different on Facebook, there's different groups like First Half Ironman. I mean, that was just different Facebook groups that I was just joining so I can see what I can find for help.
suggestions, because my weakest was the swim. And so I came across actually this group. And then laying in bed one night, I think I watched a recording of something similar like this. And it was a lady trained for her first 50K. And I just recently did a 50K in October. I think that was a time frame. And I'm thinking, when she was sharing how she didn't train, I'm thinking, this is a gimmick. There's no way she can do a 50K without training. Because I'm like, I'm putting in the hours. I'm getting up at 5 o'clock on Saturday morning to do my long runs, and then I'm trying to get those miles throughout the day. I'm doing these hill repeats. It was a part-time job for me to hear somebody say they completed a 50K with giving an hour a day for training. I was like, yeah, this is not right. I can't believe this. But I kept following and kept watching the videos that you post. And then I was like, I want to join. I want to get more. There's something going on here, because there's more than one athlete saying they did this.
They can do it.
Yes. So that's how I found. And I think originally I was just like, okay, my weakest is the swim. And so I need help on that. But then my sign up, pay my money, and then literally my schedule went bonkers. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm not even getting all of the goodies out of the 30-day boot camp. I'm not getting all of the exercise in, the techniques in. And I was like, I can't do this.
Love what you're sharing. Yeah, before you move on, let me just share. I think this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
50K from zero training to 5K in 7 weeks. So the nurse went from having knee and shin pain, finishing her first ultra, which is 7 weeks. So when you were watching this, and this one is 50K, 55K with 6K elevation gain. When you were watching the replay, you said, that's not gonna happen.
No, because I did mine in like 16, 17 weeks training. And I was like, this, following a plan I pulled offline of, how many miles you're supposed to run with the strength training. And I'm like, there's no way she can do that with just a couple hours, So that's what got me intrigued, because I saw her face and she said she did it. And, she did it with the time cut off and all that. So that pulled me in.
Yeah. So let's ask Danica. It's good to know where you're at prior. Okay, so let's ask Danica. Danica, I think you came from Ironman and Beyond as well. You were following a training plan. How was it then? Before Feisty coaching, or before the coaching itself, or before you met us?
Oh, like what my training plan was?
Yeah. How was it for you? How was life?
It was, my job was really slow because of COVID. So I didn't have a lot of because I work in our community and I do a lot of community work. So I didn't have anything on my schedule hardly, and everything was virtual. So it was like, I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to do a lot. And I just had all this spare time. And it was easy to, I think I was training probably 2 to 4 hours easily. Like I would get up super early and train a couple hours in the morning, or maybe get a couple hours around my lunch. No big deal. And it was, but also the training plan was really simple.
Right.
It was pretty generic. It was really pretty easy in a weird way.
Yeah. Were you able to follow it then? Like, were you happy when you were following an online plan then?
Yes, and I mean, for that sort of, it was good to have something that I could turn to where I would, get an idea of what I was doing, but it wasn't pushing me. Like I wasn't getting, it just, the paces seemed really, and I think it's because I put beginner, and I don't know, like, I mean, I am a beginner. It was my very first one, just under the assumption, but like, was a little more seasoned of a runner, and just ability. I felt like I was looking for more. Yeah, I just felt like, am I really training? Is this what, like, a 10-minute mile, jog pace? Do they want me to go slower so that I have more later? There was stuff like that where I was kind of like, I don't know if this is right.
All right, gotcha. So in the beginning of the year, okay, in the beginning of the year, Shirita and Danica, you guys both sign up, or like I think Shirita, you signed up for the Olympic, and then you were hoping to like get the training in. Walk us through, like just more of like when it started getting busy, like
The week after I signed up for
well,
the boot camp.
Right. Oh, okay. All right. It got busy.
did, like,
Tell us,
it
like,
did.
how was the schedule? How was the schedule?
So,
Because I
so
want to make sure
no,
we understand.
so my normal schedule is before my hours increased at work is I would swim 45 minutes before work. And then on my lunch break, I would either run or ride my bike. And then in the evening, I would either run or ride, depending on what I did do at lunchtime and how much time. If I needed to get more miles in, more than like a 4 miles at work, I would save the run for in the evening.
Wow.
So I had to be at work at the time I'm normally in the pool. And then I'm not getting out of work until after the pool closed. And then they got me working through my lunch. So I lost all of that.
No working out.
Nothing. And I wasn't even, it was bad. It was bad. Even my Saturdays and Sundays were, it's a shorter window I can get to the pool. And that was gone because I was at work. I was at work.
How many hours were you working? How many hours were you working on?
I was working anywhere from 12 to 14 hours, 7 days a week. And literally, when I got done with the triathlon last Sunday, I went to work because I had somebody cover me. Yeah, I did. I literally crossed the finish line and got in my vehicle and had to get
go to the hospital. All right, it's like another transition. We're not done yet. Oh, you got to get shower. I hope. Right?
It was a shower at work, so I did. I packed the bag. True story. I had to get
man.
Yeah.
Who else does that? Work and then transition, go to home, get cooking, get the laundry done, right? Wash dishes. It's like we have different hats, right? Did you say 12 to 14 hours, 7 days a week?
Yeah.
And you are freaking out. You're like, okay, I'm 30 but I'm not working out. But let's talk about that later. How she did it. So, but what are the emotions that came up when they're like, okay, like how did you feel at that time? Knowing that you have an Olympic, and you can't train.
It wasn't a good feeling because I normally put the work in. Whatever, if it's a Ragnar or if it's I put the work in. And I have a schedule. I have a calendar that I tell myself I'm gonna do this, this, and this. I put the work in. Whatever I'm training for, I put the time in for it. And this was the first time that I didn't, that I mentally can't say, okay, Shirita, trust the training. You put the work in. The work isn't, as people would tell me, the hay is in the barn. There's nothing else you can do. Trust the journey because you did the work. I'm like, I cannot say that at all. I don't know if I'm going to crash and burn. I don't even know if I got the endurance to do the freaking swim. It was so much to the point where I was like, I'm just going to not do it or drop down to the sprint. I'm just like this. I'm setting myself up for failure is what I told myself because I didn't put the time in. And again, I'm around athletes that put the time in. Everybody around me is on they either training for a marathon so they can qualify for the Boston, or they're also doing the same race I'm doing. And I'm watching them on Strava get their morning runs in and their bike rides in and all this. And I'm like, So
it doesn't feel good.
No, I just felt like I was getting ready to take a test and set myself up for failure. That's how because I didn't study.
Gotcha.
And I know this going in. So that's why I kept asking, you put that out there hoping someone to support you with your decision. And coach, you did not.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, let's see for the people in Ironman and beyond. Are you guys feeling similar or close or almost exactly the same thing?
Mm-mm.
Yep. Raise your hand. Do you guys feel that sometimes or all the time? It's like you want the goal, but something always comes up. Okay. Raise your hand. They were like Alex actually said earlier, Emily, T4,
Yeah,
transition 4.
that the work is after your race, you go to T4.
Yeah, I mean, Shirita has 3 daughters, okay, 2 grandkids. Okay. Yeah. Well, Shirita was freaking out. But I'll tell you more about that, like whether that emotion, yes, emotions acknowledge, but then how do we move on to like actually get to the better place? Let's ask Danica. Danica, how about you? What happened? Like in the beginning, as you heard earlier, she said because of COVID, she was training 1, 2, 4 hours, 3 hours. I said that's a lot of hours. So
Yeah, I
that
had
was
a
in
lot
the
of time.
beginning. But then something happened. Tell us more about it. And that was also very recent.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just from when I signed up for the half, is that what you're?
Yeah. When you sign up for the half, you actually said like, I want to beat that PR, coach. My PR is 140. I want to beat that PR, and I'm gonna do a 5K prior to that, but from before the half marathon. And you're like all pumped. I'm gonna give it all. I got my 70.3 coming up, but then something came up. Tell us more about it. That incident, just like what Shirita has shared. Like where were you? How did you feel about it?
Well, my job just got doubled in work because I was and things opened up more, and so all of a sudden it's like, oh, now you're going to be getting all your youth activities back going again, and which is great. I mean, it's great. And we had looked for 2 coaches to coach our track team, and we had one for sure in and one possibly in. And I thought, okay, this will be smooth sailing. All I have to do is just the organizing piece of it. And then I had to jump into that coach position to help out, which is fine. I don't mind that, but it added 3 hours into my evening. And then what was happening is that I get to the gym and I work in the community center. My office is there. I get there at 6 a.m, somewhere between 5 and 6. And I generally work out until about 8. But because I was doing this other track stuff and having to get stuff organized for kids and coordinate all of this other stuff, even just other community events, I was starting to work as soon as I got into my office without going and putting my workout stuff on. And at the same time, the more I did, it just seemed like the more stuff compounded. It was like the more, okay, and then I got to do this, and then I'm going to run over here. And another like fun fact about where I live in the middle of nowhere. So we outsource everything, and everything I have to drive like 2 hours to go and get. So my traveling just went through the roof too, because I'm going to pick up uniforms. I'm bringing stuff back from Bismarck, and I'm, so I would try and get that little bit of time in my office done. And I'd be like, oh shoot, I got to work out. And then I'd look and I'd be like, I've only
not enough time.
27 minutes to do. Coach has me lined up for at least an hour and 30 minutes. And I'm like, no way. How? And I'm like thinking in my head, okay, maybe I can push it to the evening. And I think that happened to me for like 3 weeks straight, where I finally was like, Coach, everything's in the red. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm barely making the cut on even just getting 20 minutes in or 30 minutes in. It's just not happening.
Yep.
It just kind of really crazy.
Yeah. So what we've done, actually, first of all, these are Danica's little cute kids. She got 2 kids. And also she's coaching youth, in track, right, Danica? So she got kids surrounded by kids. So that's what happened. She was able to work out prior to all these commitments about 2 hours or even 3 hours, but then suddenly it like none. And I look, and then I'm like, okay, Danica, how about let's do 1 hour? All right, Danica, like the 1 hour wasn't happening. All right, Danica, how about let's do 30 minutes? And actually, it wasn't working as well either.
No.
So it went to like, I started looking at just like on and see 7 days, she would only put 20 minutes
Yeah.
there, here. It was just like, like I could see that she's really doing her best. But there's the communication, and she's telling me like, coach, this is what's happening. So there's a communication, right? So now, but then there's still a race. Okay, so you felt that, what were you feeling? Did you feel like you could, like, did you think about the race, Danica?
Yeah,
How did you feel about it, that you felt like you were not training? I mean, how were you training in the past for a half marathon before coaching? You were training a lot more too, right?
I was putting in a good amount of running, a good amount of miles, different, just different, a variety of runs. I'd at least do one long run a week, at least one,
Yes.
and then I would do some other form of different pace, or a more tempoed run. Those kinds of, like, I did, it would be chopped up throughout my week, and maybe a couple of strength workouts.
Sure.
Maybe, at least I would be, I don't know, a good amount of miles in comparison. And I can't give like an exact number per week, but I mean, I would say averagely like at least 20 to 30 miles a week.
Wow, that's a lot. I counted, and so let me go back to where because I did count, because I want to check, so she was working out. Okay, it's right here. For 4 weeks on April, she trained 0 to 2 hours per week. 4 weeks. And this is somewhere we're in. Hey, Danica, let's just, it's okay, Danica. But guess what? When 2 weeks later, she was able to pick up, okay? That was when 2 weeks prior to race, she was able to work out 5 hours per week. So I broke it down, and I see this one here. She worked out 320, second week prior to race, 4 hours, 50 minutes total training, 1 week prior to race. Okay. Fast forward what she did. Yeah, she got 142.
Wow.
22 with that, just those hours. Okay. 142, her PR in half marathon is 140. She did not really train much. And then she told me next day, coach, I'm not even sore. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Danica?
I felt fine. Yeah.
How do you think, what do you think is different? Were you surprised about that happened?
Yeah, I was pretty actually floored by how little soreness I had. But then also the fact that I kept that pace, because even in training, I wasn't in the green for a lot of the paces that you had for me. And I was thinking in my head that last 2 weeks, like, okay, you finally know it's crunch time and you're kind of getting more time in. But I thought for surely I'd be over an 8-minute pace, for my race. I was like, well, I'll just have to be okay with that. I've kind of accepted that, but once I started the race, I weirdly felt pretty comfortable. And I thought I can shoot for a 140, but let's just see what happens. And because I was kind of in the, not probably the best mindset of a race, because I didn't prepare that well, I didn't get to the starting line when I wanted to. And I just, there were other things that kind of factored into it. But realistically, it surprised the heck out of me. And especially the mileage thing too. I kept thinking, I haven't done any one long run. I think I did one run in that 5 to 6 weeks. That was a 10-mile run one time. That's the least amount of miles I've ever put in a race, pre-race, for anything I've ever run, for a marathon or for 70.3, anything. That was the least amount of miles I've ever put in.
So were you surprised? Yeah, were you surprised because that's not the way you used to do before the coaching? And then now you got this good time, even though not putting so much time?
Yeah. And I mean, the real thing too for me was the body maintenance piece, because the soreness too. I thought for sure, because I had pushed myself in running that 13 miles, probably harder than I expected to push myself. I thought I'm probably going to be tight tomorrow. I will be sore. And I had almost no soreness from the time I crossed the finish line into the next couple of days. I kept kind of waiting for it, and it never really kicked in. I was like, oh, okay, this is not bad.
Yeah. So everyone, she mentioned the body maintenance, and I'm sure Shirita also. Shirita, when you were listening, I'm going to unmute you here. When you were listening to Ellen last time, she said she ran her first 50K with 7 weeks prior, and she said, coach, I'm not even sore.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys are looking for it, we got the body maintenance here, just raise your hand, hashtag body maintenance, so you get that access to that free training. Okay. So let's stop the share there. So now, yeah. So in a bit, we're going to share you more of like, what are the pieces, because it's not just what we're touching base here. It's not just about training. How can we get there when you still got it? How can you turn from, can I do this? I got this. All right. So let's go back to Shirita. Shirita, for you, what we've done is that what we did, I did count your workouts as well. Okay.
Okay.
So Shirita, during the first week of the boot camp, she swam three times, which is the requirement. But some other days she wasn't swimming, maybe one or two. Okay. And then that's when I messaged her, hey Shirita, what's happening? And she said, Coach, what did you say? When I asked you, like,
I was
how
like, not good, not good.
Yeah.
Not good. And not good.
She's not happy at all.
No,
then,
I'm like, I was even struggling. I was still struggling on the sidekicks. I was still struggling with some of the stuff from the first week. And the second week, I was just, because I wasn't putting the time in, you know what I mean? I was struggling, and I saw myself getting behind on on the assignments, and the tapes, the videos that I was sending in were very helpful, but I just like I wasn't progressing in the boot camp. Like,
sure.
I'm still struggling with these stupid sidekicks and keep my head in the right position, and so I felt defeated. I really felt like I was wasting my money, wasting your time. There's so much information out there, and I get home, take a shower, and get into bed and pull my laptop up. In 5 minutes, I'm sleep watching the video, or it wasn't a good feeling.
That's not fun. Yeah.
No, no.
So, and that's part of it. What we do is that we do check in with our athletes, because we do know that they're very busy. So I checked in with her, and then that's what I found. I'm like, you know what? Let me give her the facts. Let me give her the data. All right. So when I did that, what she didn't know is that she was actually already getting fast. It's basically what she has done. It's more of the high quality workouts rather than the quantity. Here's actually what I posted. It was on May 12th. This one was 2 weeks prior to the 2 weeks prior to the actual race. Within 3 weeks, she's now swimming from 335 to 244. Only 3 weeks, and she did not know that. Why? Yeah. So why? Because she was focused on because like when you're busy, all you have, you're in a bubble. You're in a bubble of this. I got to do this. I have so many things to do, but then not realizing of how far you've gone. Right. But then now there's the coach saying your progress. Hey, Shirita, look how far you've come. 335. Were you surprised about that?
I was, because I think I didn't even see it right away. I think you might have messaged me and asked me. Somebody didn't ask me, did I see it? I'm like, no. I'm like, holy smokes, I did that. So, and that was just with me trying to get in real quick and get my technique in and just focus on that, and then finish doing some. After you do the technique, do the work a little bit and get out the pool and either get where I gotta go. I didn't even look at the data. I wasn't even going back and looking at what I was doing. I'm just like, okay, I told her I was going to get in the pool day, and I did that and save the workout and get to where I gotta go. That's
Yeah. And fast forward, and as I've shown you here, in 30 days, so basically she improved from 336 to 247.
Yeah. Wow.
And with really, she only did 3 workouts in the first week, which was May, but the rest is like going down. But it's more of the quality. What do you focus when you're swimming? Are you just going laps? Like for other athletes who here, athletes who's actually watching, are you just going by laps, finishing your 2000, your 500, not knowing exactly how to swim properly, your technique? Because Shirita didn't have time. Okay, you got like 30 minutes less.
Yeah, and before I met you, Coach, that's what I did. I just go back and forth, thinking more for the endurance part of it. Like, I may not be the fastest swimmer, but if I can do 2,000 yards, then I can flounder out there in that water to get the 750, yards required in the sprint. So that's why oftentimes before I met you, I wasn't focusing on techniques, and I didn't have anybody to critique me when I wasn't doing it correctly anyway. So that's what I did. I would just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And yeah.
Good. For everyone, she mentioned technique. So if you want to know more about swim technique, just put hashtag swim technique, swim faster. We'll get you that training resource. Looks like Odette also, same here. Odette said, same here, just going by laps. Who else? Of course, is side kicks. Did a lot of side kicks. Yep. All right. Okay, so Danica, so like now that you have experience the new, like before, you did not know that you could actually achieve a great time with what you did, but then now you've experienced it. Does that change the way you perceive things when things get busy in the future, in the upcoming days or weeks, knowing the possibility that, it's not always going to be bad, right? Like what this one taught you? What has this one taught you?
I mean, I think it goes like kind of back to what you guys were just talking about, like technique and stuff. It's like, in training, it's like training smarter, not harder. I mean, it's just that whole concept of like, because the workouts that you were giving me that were like 20 or 30 minutes long, I mean, I did notice like different speed workouts that I'd never even done before. And a lot of it was also form focused. And I have quite a bit of experience running, but I have never done like really like detailed, like form focused type work, like just in general with the like elbow jabs and fast feet and, all this stuff. So that for surely changed, has changed my perspective. Like it really is doable to, like it's one, and you say it in the post, and I always think of it now, even this week, because I've gotten a jam a few times, and it's like 20 minutes is better than no minutes. It's like 20 minutes is better than zero. So just, whatever piece of the work that you have mapped out for my workout, if I can get 20 minutes of a quality instead of quantity necessarily, like that to me is, I think will make a difference. I mean, and I feel like the last, 6 weeks before my race kind of proves that, because it was, I mean, I felt really unprepared, kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to go and do my best and I just have to be okay with it, Yeah. And then I really felt actually pretty surprised, and I don't know. Yeah. So
I remember you said earlier that before when we talked, you said that I wouldn't even do the workouts if I couldn't put in 45 to an hour. That it's not even worth doing the workout. Like if I can't do that, it's not even like not.
That's how you guys are.
But that changed. That changed, and I think a lot of athletes have that perspective. Like if I can't put in 45 to an hour, I'm not even going to put on my shoes. I'm not even gonna,
It's like an all or nothing mentality. Like if I'm not going to show up and I'm not going to do my absolute best and I'm not going to get every last bit of every little bit of sweat I can get out of this workout, then is it even going to really be training? And then in my head, like I've completely shifted to like, yes, every little bit of training, even if it is just 15, 20, 30 minutes, it's worth it. Like it matters, even if you can just squeeze in that little bit, it will make a difference.
Yeah. All right. So you guys can relate to that.
Yes.
That is a big thing. Okay.
Stephanie says I'm guilty of thinking like that. Especially we are busy. We are busy. We still want to exercise, but it's much better for us to get something in, because it's not about just that one workout. It's about the accumulative effort of back-to-back consistency of you showing up and actually learning from it. There's also time management, right? So you like, oh, okay,
what else can I do the next day? And then for that 20, 30 minutes to work, of course, is that it has to be quality. So for example, what Danica said, it's not just about running. It's not just about going laps. Yes, you got 20 minutes. Well, you better just do put your time. If you have like 20 minutes, would you do it just doing whatever, or do it like specifically for you? Okay. Like, for example, I know Danica has her previous weak link is her ankle or her knee. So we focus on that, making sure that we strengthen that thing, sorry, we strengthen it. And also at the same time, still running. So I know it's unconventional way of training, but we get it done. Right.
Yeah.
As long as we get the result. Who doesn't want that?
Right.
Right. All right. So, well, Shirita, for you, okay, what is this, what are the things that you've learned from it? Because on the race, you've also mentioned, and I know a lot of athletes would need to hear this one. You did want to back out from Olympic, and you may want to I'm going to go for a sprint, or maybe not even sprint. I'll just not show up. So, knowing that how you did, are you happy or not happy that you actually did it? Or what would you have felt if you actually back out?
So
Right.
you asked me that question, and several times the week up to the race, and I'm happy I did do it. The conversation I had with you, if you remember, you kept asking me what's the worst could happen during the race, and I kept throwing all these things out. Then you asked me, then you said, well, think how great you're going to feel it once you cross the finish line, and changing the mindset. Because even though I was sharing this with you up 2 weeks before the race, and we're still talking about mindset, you were sharing things on how to help with that, I still would have that voice in the back of my head. You did not do the work. You did not do the work. So how are you going to go out there and do this Olympic, and you didn't even train for a sprint? So you have not did the work. So changing that mindset to I can do this, I will do this. It was actually the day before, or 2 days before the race, is when you and I had that 20-minute Zoom conversation. And I had to hold on to that. That's what I held on to in my head for that 48 hours. The things that we talked about, like change it. You can do this. How you're going to feel when you cross that finish line, because you will cross it. You told me that I will cross that finish line. So that's how I had to change that mindset.
What are your takeaways? Yeah, I'm sure our athletes who are watching this one, what did we talk about on that 20 minutes? 2 days.
This is what you said. We got 20 minutes.
I know. Yeah, we got 20 minutes. So what are your takeaways on that?
Mindset is everything. All my negative thoughts, you walked me through it and you flipped it. And you asked me, okay, what is the worst case? But what if you do? You have to take those negative and make it a positive, even while you're in swimming. Stop thinking of the negative. Challenge yourself, like, okay. So what I did was I would tell myself, okay, I'm doing my first lap. And then the whole time, I'm not focusing so much on the distance, but my technique, right? And I'm critiquing myself the whole time. Before I realize it, I'm out of the water, getting ready to go in for my second. And so you just got to keep telling yourself positive thoughts instead of I'm out here doing this and I only have one open water swim, training for this. So it's just thinking positive behind it and keeping it fun. Like you have to go in with it wasn't easy because, like I said, all the way up until that Friday when you and I talked on the phone, I was still thinking that I'm setting myself up for failure. Even after you and I talked the week before, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. But now that's I'm like, no, I can't do this, But it's just taking the things that we did go over when I was out there in California when we did the open race day drills. I did that. I went through all the things that we talked about as far as the mindset of race day, and I did that. So I did all the things that I know I did, or had in my toolbox is what I used, right? And that is key. That is really key of using the things that you have in your toolbox. 'Cause like I said, I wasn't even watching my metrics like you were, until you started sharing those. So that something was working, something in this formula. It may not look the same as what I'm used to looking at. Because remember, you told me, well, don't worry about swimming so many laps, just working on side kicks and this. You gave me specific things to work on in my time in the pool.
Good.
And I like that you mentioned that now you had new tools. You had things in your toolbox. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna be nervous and I'm gonna be doubting myself because I have nothing. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I didn't train, so I don't. You have tools. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm gonna do before. This is what I'm gonna do during. This is what I'm gonna do.
Right.
This is what I'm gonna do when somebody catches my leg while I'm swimming.
So yeah. So I'm gonna. Okay. Good.
Yeah, that was key because somebody did grab my leg and the back of my calf. Because the men Olympics, they was on their second lap when I was on my first, and when I felt like, okay, that's somebody just getting ready to pass me and don't see me there. But before, they came up like out of the water, like doing like this and just trying to. But now I recognize that from the drills that we did when I was out there.
Good. Awesome.
You had tools to know how to deal with that situation. So amazing.
I want to point that out. So for those who are listening, are you guys taking notes on this? Because we are getting a lot of nuggets from this ladies here. All right. So, what she had done, like when you heard Shirita earlier, she was saying like, how could you even do this one? You didn't put the training, and she can't convince herself. But then, that 20 minutes magical call, it's 20 minutes. We're just going to get the bits and pieces there. Is that what we get into more is like, what did she do right? And focus on that. What did she do right? She went to do the drills, in the open water to overcome those, the fear or the anxiety in terms of swimming, right? You did the work. You did the work, but you were just focusing on the negative things. You did the work, right? It's more. So that's one, focusing on what you did rather than on what you didn't do. Because if you're going to focus on what you did, those tools, that's what's going to propel you to the next moving, for you to move forward because you want to do the race, right? You want to do the race. The second one is that, visualizing yourself, like you sign up for the race. There's a reason why you sign up for the race. Now get to that finish line. Picture yourself just going to that finish line. How would you feel? Like you would want that feeling. So now when you start, when you start visualizing that, okay, when you start visualizing that, like now you're inviting this positive, like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? So now it's like, instead of you like beating yourself up that you didn't train or like all these fears or doubts, you're like, I just want to race now and get that feeling, whatever that finish is, I know I'm going to get there. That's the second part. The third part there is that like, okay, fine. You really are beating yourself up. What's the worst thing that can happen, Shirita? What's the worst thing that can happen? I'm going to drown. Really? No, you're not. You got wetsuit. I mean, there's several, is that really true? Right. What else did you, so there's like, you want to negate that, whatever your negative self-talk, and actually dig into it. So with Shirita, she has several, and that's what actually, even though as much as we were talking, it happened on the 2 days prior to the race where it like, bam, no more fears, no more doubts. I'm ready. She was excited and she was ready, and then for Danica also, what Danica had done is that like, did you guys take notes earlier? Like she changed her mindset. What can I do with just this 20 minutes? Make the most out of it, and then rather than actually have that black and white mentality.
Yeah, I remember Danica mentioned that she had to just, there was a part that where she had to accept that was just her life at the moment. Those 20 minutes, as much as she wanted more, that was just what it was.
And make the most out of it. Because the thing about it is that, like whether you sign up now or later or next year, things will come up. So now, guess what? We grow by adjusting of the circumstance, right? And then now once we pass through, oh, I did that. That means I can do more of that, right? Now you have an experience that you can tell yourself, oh, I can only train 2 weeks. All I have to do is just follow Coach Shangrila's workouts at just 20 minutes and I will, be near to my PR, right? So now they also mentioned the formula. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys learn a lot from this. Okay, so what they have done, all right, what they have done is address these 5 things. That true? Nod your head, thumbs up if you guys did that, Danica and Shirita. Training, nutrition, body maintenance, mental fitness, race strategy. Not just training. If you guys are just doing training, swim, bike, run, okay, because for Shirita, she's used to just doing training. Right? And if she does training, she's like, okay, I feel good. But then now the training is not really there. But what she didn't really realize is that she was doing training, but more of the quality, like focusing on the main things for training that would get big results. The next one is also nutrition, body maintenance, mental fitness. Oops, not this one. Yeah, the Y2. Okay. So now if I go back there, and then the race strategy. Okay. And then the race strategy. So those are important. In terms of the swimming, what we have done for Shirita, hopefully it comes up, for the 30-day swim boot camp, technique, speed, endurance, open water skills. She was able to do some, but then again, it goes back to like, what's the specific thing that she had learned? She kept mentioning side kicking. Why? Because that's the main thing that she need to actually get better at, because that's going to get big results. You don't need to do all the drills that you see online because you don't need it. For Shirita, it's only one. And I want her to focus on that. Are you guys getting on this one? Yes. So now for you, like if you guys are doing something, in your training, what are you focusing on? Right? What are you focusing on? I know Danica, we did also nutrition for you. Okay. Good job on that one.
I want to know, out of the everybody who's watching, put in which area do you think you are not looking at right now? Which one might be missing for you?
So let me put that up.
Put that up again. Which of these areas do you think you might be missing that might kind of kill your results if you don't do it?
Yeah, because we actually, we're asking that because we have a free training already in the group. So when you raise your hand, we'll just give your training there so you can get access and then get more. Like, what is body maintenance? Mm-hmm. So Danica said earlier, the body maintenance, how is that? Like, what is body maintenance?
Pete says nutrition. He's missing nutrition.
Yeah. So yeah, nutrition here. Okay. Nutrition is important. You got to know the what to eat, the amount, and the timing. Okay. All right. So before we let go, do you guys have any questions? Go ahead and tell your questions if you guys have any other questions. Looks like Corey said mental fitness. Pete said nutrition. Hello, Dawn. Welcome. So if you guys are just tuning in, hopefully, so like, let me just go back here. If you guys are tuning in, you can do the replay because we're about to end, but we are looking into, my race is coming up and I haven't trained enough. How to change? Can I do this? I got this when you think you didn't train enough. And we talked about the formula here. You got to make sure you address the training, nutrition, body maintenance, mental fitness, and race strategy. Now, the training here, it's not just going by the distance. We have to go technique, speed, endurance and race skills. Okay. A lot of athletes just go, oh, I have a 5K. I'm just going to run 5K. I have a half marathon. Oh, I'm going to go by miles. But as you saw, Danica didn't run much. She only ran 5 hours the last 2 weeks. She still did well. And she's not hurt. And she's not even that much as sore as like before. Okay.
Yes. So out of, I'm curious, what do you guys think? Danica, what made the biggest difference for you working together with the feistyfox team this time around? What do you think? The biggest thing?
I mean, I would just probably go back to finding our understanding, like making the time matters, like, and meeting, like, you know, I guess realizing that coach would be willing to meet me in the middle, because there was a part of me too, like in the beginning of training, it was like the fact that I'm not doing this, I just felt so kind of like, I'm way out here and everybody's training so hard. I would look at the page and just be so intimidated, thinking everybody's following all the things they're supposed to be doing, and I'm over here like just, you know, fighting tooth and nail to get like a little bit of time, and all my workouts are in the red, and what am I going to do? And then realizing, I think like the biggest turnaround for me was realizing after I communicated with you guys, with coach, that, you know, the way things were, that there's hope, you know, we can work with this. Let's try and figure this out. There's a way to figure this out. Like, don't, you know,
that'll happen.
Don't get so down on yourself. Life happens, and just to be okay with it. Like, and one main thing too, I think that keeps coming to mind is like controlling the things that you have, you know, have control over, and just letting the rest be what it is, you know, like controlling like what I was eating, taking care of my body, and getting, you know, getting the best out of that 20 minutes that I could, and then not beating myself up for it when things did fall short. So that was kind of
not beating yourself up. Are you guys hearing that? That's important. That's a big one. What about you, Shirita? What made the biggest difference for you working together with the feistyfox team?
I think exactly what Danica said. And also, this is my first time ever working with a coach, period, too, to this level. And just to have somebody there to reassure you that coach said, but you are doing your best. You are putting the work in. You got to give yourself credit for that. Yeah. And life happens. So the next race that you think you have a plan for, you can go through the same thing. And also, I learned that it's not just about training. It's got all those other things, because until working with coach, and I did the 50K last year, I know why I felt like I got hit by a bus, even after doing the 16, 17 week training. All the other pieces I didn't do. All I did was get out there and run. And I didn't do any body maintenance, nutrition. I missed that by a ballpark, just by listening to the things that coaches share with other athletes, and helping me the day or two before the race, give me like, you are burning a lot of calories. You have got to replenish. I'm like, what is she talking about? Because before it'd be just water. I wasn't taking anything. When I did the sprint triathlons, I wasn't replenishing. And so all that makes sense, that you need to do all instead of just going out there and run. I do practice yoga, but it's nothing like how it's set up working with somebody. And the key thing too is having somebody check up on you, right? And then say, I noticed something's going on. I'm here to help. Let's talk about it. That was key too. So, and I'm talking about second week into the boot camp, you reaching out and let me know it's okay, and then adjusting. It's because I think you said it's okay if you don't get all the workouts in, but this is what I want you to focus on. That was key. That was very key.
Yep. And that's why we have these 80-20 rapid results method. Like, basically it's 80-20 principle. What is the main thing that would get the biggest result? Mm-hmm. And that's what you guys both focus on. And making sure that you guys are still sane. Check up on you. You guys doing okay? You know, like, it does make a big difference, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not about the data. So a lot of athletes go to an online training plan, but then who checks up on them? Like,
Right.
what's the, and then now a person is overwhelmed. But like someone's like, hey, just a plan, follow this, focus on this, address these things. Hey, you're not focusing on your nutrition. Okay. And I know Danica was too a year ago. I'm like, oh, you got to get into it. All right. Good stuff. All right. Okay. So for everyone who wants to get some help or actually try to figure things out in terms of, like if you think that you are also missing something like training, nutrition, body maintenance, mental fitness, race strategy, maybe you're just focusing on training and then now you're not training. And then now I'm like, oh, am I ready? How can I do this? And then now in training, you'll be able to figure out like how to train. You gotta address all these 4 things. So if you want to know more of like how to address this, okay, put hashtag game plan down below and we can talk more about it. Or like if you're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that goal. Well, guess what? Shirita also was that like, she's training, she signed up for it, but am I ready for that goal? She did not know whether she's ready or not. And it's different when you actually have a sounding board or someone who can actually like, hey, you're doing just fine. Chill out. Let's move forward. Let's see what else can we like solve, right? Because with that particular formula, she got this one, finished her first Olympic triathlon, and then also got faster, just focusing on the technique part. She was working out 1-2 times a week for the last 4 weeks prior to her race. She still got faster. And also Danica, she was only working out, the last 2 weeks prior to the race, still got to only 2 minutes off her PR. Okay. So like 0 to, who does that? Who does that? It's only 0 to 5 hours per week training. Is that right? But you got it. And she's not even sore. And just like what Shirita said when she was listening to something like this back in the past, okay, she's like, there's some gimmick here. Something's going on. How could you even have a great time? Okay. So now I'm going to tell you the secret in the call, hashtag game plan below, and we'll get to that. All right. You guys are getting a lot for those athletes who are actually on the call. I hope you guys are having a great time. Anything else that we have for you? I think that's basically it. Good to have you both, Danica and Shirita. Is there anything else you want to add besides what we talk about? I think we talked about a lot already. Anything else for you to say to those athletes who, like, for example, got busy? Okay, got busy, just like you. Let's put yourself again to like how you were back then. Because there are still many athletes like that, and maybe you again, hopefully not the same mindset, right? Hopefully much better, right? What can you say? What's the main thing, that advice for those athletes? Let's see Danica first.
The main thing that comes to mind, like what
main advice that you can help us out, like if in case like we freak out again, speak.
I mean, I would just say to like to give yourself more credit, because I think it's one of those things when you get caught up in thinking that you are coming short constantly, you can really get down on yourself. So it's just that to me was like, just you can do it. Like it's just a matter of just how you perceive yourself and how you perceive your training, and like just going after what you can, and it's just having the right mindset really is key, I think, because when you start seeing all that red, it can get real on the training, because it can get really dicey. But truthfully, I mean, if you're doing the best that you can, that's the best you can do. So I don't know.
Yeah, love it.
Yes,
you have learned so much from your own experience. Awesome, good stuff. Shirita, what can you say for Shirita, old Shirita then, or the other other athletes who are just feeling like that, like you back then?
Again, the time you do put in, making sure it's a quality time. I'm learning that too. And it's not all about training. It's all those other pieces along with it. The body maintenance, the mental fitness part of it was key. The nutrition, putting all the pieces together, and communication.
Awesome.
during that process. That, when you get stuck, I didn't reach out. I guess, honestly, I thought I was going to just fade away in the sunset. And,
Aw.
you know what I mean? Just,
But
I
you
just
won't,
like,
because I'm
no,
not country.
no. So that is key, that having somebody holding you accountable, but not so much you didn't hold me accountable for the workout. I wasn't getting like, chastised because I'm falling behind. It was like you would critique it, and the whole time putting in the confidence that you are doing the work. But even like if it's a half an hour, just focus on this. Now, don't worry about putting in the distance and all that. Just focus on this and you'll be fine. And then I just had to trust what you were saying because of your background and all the other stuff. And it actually worked. Every piece of it worked.
Congratulations to both of you.
Yeah,
Danica. Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
Till next time, Ironman and Beyond, we are always happy to see you all tuning in on our training on a weekly basis. Today was amazing. All right. So again, next week, we're going to have again another live training. Till next time, if you guys got a lot of value here, #value. And let's say thank you to Shirita and Danica for giving their time, sharing their experience so you can also learn and do it yourself. You know that you're not the only one who feels, hopefully it's not so bad. Eek! My race is coming up.
That is perfect.
And I haven't trained enough. Right? Let's do it.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.